Man, kind of a weird day today. We're just chasing a bunch of different stories and we kind of gone off on some tangents. We'll kind of start back at the top. Storm restoration roofing next up. I was just looking at the weather. I thought this most of this rain was going to come in mostly on Sunday, but I just saw a map where we've got some possible rain, little thunderstorms. It's not on the severe side right now, but that may roll in here later on Saturday evening. So keep that in mind for all of you'll be wanting to watch the weather for all your Easter stuff, especially if you're going to get up and try to go to one of those sunrise services. May not be any sun because we got rain coming in. It looks like a little earlier than had even been anticipated. Updates on that in a little bit. That just reminds me of Greg Nelson and storm restoration because we're here still in the thick of spring storm season. And it's one of those things where any minute now, even though you're probably tuning me out right now, if your roof is good and you got a newer house and you're not worried about the age of it, but suddenly we get a big hailstorm or something goes down and you're going to need a roofer. Well, go ahead and jot this number down. I'm giving y'all a couple minutes to get your whatever it is you write with and get that out and get this in your phone or put it wherever you keep numbers, because this could really come in handy if you get in a pinch and need a quality roofer. You know, after we get a big storm system through, you'll have these troll operations where these people coming over from Mississippi and Louisiana, and they just go to where storm damage is to try to work up roofing business. And I admire the hustle, but I can't tell you who these people are, and you can't either. And when you're in a pinch like that, you'll take all the help you can get. And people have gotten screwed out of their money that way or have gotten poor quality work. Listen, have Greg's number where you can get to it. He'll eventually get to you. 205-542-3531. Here's a guy who's been doing it. He's going on 30 years in the business, got a whole family's involved with him in the business. They work hard. They take a lot of pride in doing things right, and they'll help you with your claims to get things buttoned up and documented and turned in so that you can get proper coverage. And it's just a quality roofing company that can do all of it. You know, the install is going to be done right. I've learned a lot listening to Greg and his messages, and he always lets me know that, you know, if your roofer doesn't install that roof correctly, the guarantees and warranties and all on the actual roofing materials, they don't have to abide by those. They don't have to honor those if it's installed improperly. That's the same thing for later when we talk about EcoView, when your windows, it's got to be done right. So do it right with Greg Nelson and Storm Restoration Roofing. All right, I stalled as long as I could. Here's the number, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, Storm Restoration Roofing. All right, we got time for some phone calls. We've had some good ones today. 545-9950 if you want to jump in the show and comment on any of these things. If we took things back to the top, we'd talk about Pam Bondi first. She got the boot today. There has been nonstop coverage of her since this announcement right around lunchtime today, especially on Fox. It's like she died. She's just moving to another department. AGs come and go from presidencies all the time. I think Trump had just had enough. There's a rumor mill swirling that she might have been leaking to some stuff to some people in Washington. I think from the time she botched the Epstein situation, I was done with her and her showboating and constant presence on the news channels. It doesn't mean she's a bad person, but it seemed like her priorities weren't focused in the direction where Trump needs them in an administration that's doing all these bold things. You got to have a pit bull in that job. The problem is trying to get a pit bull confirmed by the Senate seems like an impossibility right now. So Lee Zeldin's name has come up as a replacement. Todd Blanche is going to be the interim. That guy is a pit bull. They'd never get him through the Senate. We don't know. The rumor mill was that Tulsi Gabbard was next, and Trump seemed to have poo-pooed that today. There's a Kash Patel rumor mill that Kash Patel is going to get the axe. Trump hadn't poo-pooed that today, but that one didn't get out there as far as the Tulsi Gabbard thing. Of course, the Kristi Noem thing that blew up with her husband's man boobies. And oh my gosh, that story. I can't with that. It did create some funny memes though. So that was one of the big stories today. I think number two is the King of England deciding he's not going to present a Easter message to the people of England this year. He just ain't going to do it. The guy who is, y'all know the story. He's a monarch. He's supposed to be there representing Jesus on the throne. And he says, no, we're not going to do it. You know, Ramadan and all. He just 3 weeks ago he did a Ramadan message though. I'll give you my bottom line on it, and if y'all want to call about King Charles or whatever, King Charles is scared of the Muslims in his own country. He's scared of them. So is the prime minister. So is a lot of people in their government. So are the local MPs when they arrest people for being offensive by just exercising speech. So is the mayor of Minnesota. So are others. Anywhere there's a mass gathering of these people, people have to start caving in and acquiescing and try not to be offensive because they'll kill you. They will kill your ass. Yeah, that's what we see. That's exactly what's going on. It is a massive Western civilization shift. And what a cave-in artist calls in the United Kingdom for him to abdicate the throne, turn it on over to William. It's William's turn. I don't know if William's got any more sense. Charles has always been a douchebag. He's always been a douchebag. All right, we'll talk about that too if you want to. What else we got? The number 3 story is the Tiger Woods thing. Body cam video out today. This dude hammered on whatever. We know it started with his pain pill addiction. It's repeated instances, but he really looks bad. And then the secondary story to that that's come out this afternoon is he might have called the president immediately after flipping his car over. He's got his number, clearly got his number. Trump answers his phone for everybody. Kid Rock, what's happening? Tiger Woods, yo. I mean, they got Trump's cell phone. He walked around with his own. So maybe he did. I think he told TMZ, yeah, that's who I was on the phone with in that cop cam video, because the audio and the video are out now. You can see all of his behavior afterwards. What we haven't heard is from Trump or his team about, well, what were they talking about? And will Trump even mention it or say anything about it? I don't know. That just kind of started popping up here in the last hour. All right, phone calls. I promised phone calls. Let's do it. Lee is in Coleman. What's up, Lee, over on line 1? What's going on, man? Right.
I'm doing pretty good. On your comment about the driver's license, when you're issued driver's license, you have to present your driver's license when you are pulled over. That is required by law, and it also falls under Terry versus Ohio, and they can order you out of the vehicle. The field sobriety test is voluntary. You do not have to assist the police in any of their investigations whatsoever. I've done it twice, once as a driver, once as a passenger, and I don't even drink. I refuse to take their test, and, of course, they give me the threaten this, threaten that. And I'm like, I don't care. You can arrest me if you want to. We'll go in, we'll do a blood test, we'll do a urine test, we'll do everything, and I'll wind up suing you. But you can refuse a field sobriety test, and it is not required by law.
Well, it's called implied consent, and the way it works is, like you said, they can't force you to do it, but if you don't do it, you're going to be under arrest because they can arrest
Not
you
necessarily.
based on implied
I've
consent.
Twice.
They didn't arrest you on the spot?
No, they threatened.
Well, good. I mean, they have the option. There's discretion on the part of the officer on the scene too, based on other things, maybe observing you and you didn't appear to be drunk, then you refuse. But the implied consent comes when you take a driver's license as well, which says you'll comply with the breathalyzer laws on the side of the road, or they're going to, if you don't submit to the breath test or some of the other testing, they can take you downtown and then find out down there because they got to go get a warrant at that point.
Yeah, but I know in Georgia, if you refuse a field sobriety test, they'll suspend your license, I think, for 90 days.
Yeah, that's much more aggressive over there. Yep.
Yes, but in Alabama, it is voluntary. You do not have to take it, regardless what the police officer tells you on the side of the road. Now, he can order you out of the vehicle, Terry versus Ohio.
But what I'm saying is the law gives them the right to then effect an arrest if they choose on the side of the road if you refuse the BAT.
Yes, but they've got to have articulate suspicion. Facts other than a hunch.
You know what? I tell you what I'll do, Lee. I pulled it up so we can just all kind of read it together. If you want to hear me read it, you can hang on. We'll talk about it.
All righty.
And this is straight from the Alabama implied consent. They actually have a whole page on implied consent. Let's see what the state says in verbatim. It says the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences is a state agency, blah, 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 down here, blah, 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 blah. The state agency responsible for oversight and management of the state's driving under the influence breath alcohol testing program. The implied consent 80FS through legislative mandate, and it gives the code section, administers the breath alcohol testing program, more formally known as the chemical test for intoxication. The Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences provides the evidential breath testing instruments for use by law enforcement. These are located at 170 test sites housed at local county municipal facilities throughout the state. I didn't even know that. The forensics manages the equipment. The Alabama Department of the Forensic Sciences implied consent section exists to provide law enforcement with an effective defensible breath alcohol testing program for use in enforcing the DUI laws of the state of Alabama, and provide those citizens directed to submit breath samples for the detection of alcohol with the most comprehensive scientifically available. Oh, this isn't the law section. This is the administrative
There's no
section.
law on it. You just said directed, and there's no law that forces you to take a field sobriety test. Not in Alabama. It is 100% voluntary. You do not have to assist the police in any investigation whatsoever.
But it goes back to, and this is my layman's interpretation of, I'm not trying to be a lawyer, but the right to be on the road is a privilege. Well, there's no right to be on the highways. So when you accept the driver's license law, it's a contract with the state that you will submit to a field sobriety test. And if you don't, they'll arrest you and then try to get you to do it when they arrest you. They won't always arrest you, but they have that discretion.
The implied consent falls under the if you get pulled over, you have to submit your driver's license.
For suspicion of DUI. They got to have the reasonable suspicion,
Exactly. But passengers do have to present their driver's license.
Right. And so, but I guess it begs the question, why would the cops put you through a field test if they didn't have suspicion?
Yeah, so sometimes you just run into that.
Oh man, we're losing your call, Lee. Let me further read. Here's a law analysis on it. Thanks, Lee. Appreciate the call. It says Alabama has its own implied consent law, which requires drivers who are lawfully arrested for DUI to submit to a blood, breath, or urine test when requested by an officer. It's important to note that these tests are only mandatory if the arrest is lawful, meaning the officer must have reasonable grounds to believe the driver was operating under the influence. That's what I've been saying. If the driver refuses to comply with a chemical test, they're not forced to undergo testing unless a warrant is obtained. However, the refusal to take the test does not come without consequences. Under Alabama's implied consent law, this is all good education for all of us, okay? Drivers have the right to refuse the test, but doing so can lead to significant penalties. A driver refuses to take the breath urine test and may face automatic suspension of the license. He was just talking about that in Georgia. First time refusal typically results in a 90-day suspension, while subsequent refusals in a 10-year period can lead to a 1-year suspension. The license suspension is separate from any other criminal charges that may arise from the DUI, meaning if the DUI charge is dropped, the license suspension can still stand. And then it goes down to DUI refusals. Despite those penalties, it may be in the best interest of the driver to refuse a roadside test. This is a law firm advising you against it. And they're saying that breathalyzer tests can be inaccurate, which is probably good information too. The problem is if they need a warrant, they can find a reason to arrest you and make them, they've got to execute this warrant within a time frame of you're still being inebriated if they're going to make a case. And if you're stumbling all over the place, I used to do these ride-alongs with both Georgia and Alabama police where they would do these DUI task force, try to bust people on the streets. I remember this one guy, we were riding along and we'd seen him weave. That was when the officer became suspicious. We were rolling the video cameras. And this guy weaved as he left a parking lot near a bar area and went all the way across the road, almost hit the curb. So you probably got a drunk right there. Reasonable suspicion. So we got in behind him. But the officer wanted more to pull him over. This was a crazy little lesson for me as a young reporter. So we were on the Columbus side of the Chattahoochee River, and this guy was about to cross the Dillingham Street Bridge, go back into Phoenix City. And sun was setting on the Alabama side of the bridge. It was late in the afternoon. I remember this guy turned the corner, and the cop hit the light. I said, what did he do wrong? He was trying to get a moving violation or a reason to pull him over. He had a crack in his windshield that you could see when the light hit it, when he made that turn, the sun-setting light hit that crack. That was not a moving violation, but a reason to pull him over. So if you got tail light out, expired tag, or you do a moving violation, you're weaving, speeding, obviously speeding, crashing into stuff, All he needs a reason to pull you over. Then there's reasonable suspicion that you're drunk, and then you're going to go through the whole thing. Your best thing to solve all of these problems is don't be drinking and driving. How hard is that? Tiger Woods, are you listening, bro? You got a little cash in your bank account. I'd hire somebody. AJ, if I was Tiger Woods, I'd be wearing a fur coat, being chauffeured around all over town. I'd have somebody drive me. I'd have somebody drive me to the bathroom on a golf cart.
To my mailbox. I mean, everywhere.
Think I'll go get the mail. Henry.
Bring me my mail car.
I'd have a different car for every day of the week and a different driver if I needed to. This dude's got the money to do it. But, man, guys, we're just stupid. Hard-headed. He just probably likes driving, being independent, probably having his privacy.
And you know what? And honestly, you know what? Oh, I know we're talking about it could be it could be like a reaction to medication, because a lot of times, you know, he may have crossed some medications and they had an adverse effect on him. And, you know.
He looked like he crossed 37 medications in that instance.
I've never seen a picture when you take a photo when you get your prison that's like perfect. If he is, hey,
oh yeah,
you need it. You're in the wrong field.
Not to defend Woods, but people today are like criticizing his erratic behavior in the back seat of the cop car. I'm like, have you ever been in the back of a cop car? Because you don't know how your ass would look back there either.
Right.
I'd be stunned, nervous, fidgety. I mean, who wants to get arrested? This dude's getting arrested.
I mean, you got to think about it, right? You're about to hit the news. You're Tiger Woods. You've already had, three or four situations like this already.
Yeah, he's an experienced,
and then you already know, it's like I can see him driving. Flips the car over, and the first thing is like, oh, dang it, TMZ is about to hear all about this. And
the first thing he's like, he's upside down trying to get his seatbelt off going, damn, call Trump. He told his speakerphone, call Big Daddy. Call the Orange King. Also, please don't tell TMZ. Nobody, no phones.
Man, because I wonder who's on his speed dial. Like,
you know, I mean, this dude's upside down. The car hadn't even stopped yet, and he's thinking, "Oh hell, I know what's next.
Come on, now,
I know what's next.
I got to come up with something.
Call Trump. I was on a mission for Trump. I'd pull the Trump card out myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm. You know that new Dare program? Yeah, I'm on that, and I was just trying to test some stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I was doing a video on what not to do when you're on drugs. I don't know, just try to come up with something.
He could have used our help right there in the moment. Lonnie's Furniture Company again, bringing you the show tonight. What a great store, an acre of selection under one roof, and y'all will just love. You really will enjoy the people that work there so much. It's just. Maybe it's because I know them. You walk in the door, it's like family. And if you want them to follow you around and answer questions, they'll do it. If you want them to leave you the heck alone so you can think and browse and think, it's a big decision. I mean, you buy a couch, you're probably going to live with it for years. You want it to be right. And they got so many options. You might just want to sit there and think a little bit. They'll leave you alone. They'll let you hang out in that store all day if you want to. Take a nap, whatever. See how that thing naps. But when you're ready, if you need detailed help like I did, design help, like actual design help, they're there for that too. Specials, deals, inside the home, outside the home, odds and ends, rugs, lamps, groupings, already beautifully grouped up in the store. And if you haven't been in a while, every time you go in Lonnie's, the floor looks different because they turn over furniture. They've always got a nice selection. Lonnie'sFurnitureCompany.com, LAUNIUS, Highway 65, I-65 northbound, 280 exit, Lonnie'sFurnitureCompany.com. All right, y'all. Leland Live Talk, 99.5. Alabama Gold Refinery, they're over in Homewood. It's a good buying opportunity right now. Gold's starting to creep back up, but we know we've seen a bottom in the last couple of weeks. We saw a top a couple of weeks before that. The range has been almost $1,000 an ounce. It's been crazy, but it just shows you where it can go. All I know is throughout history, gold holds its own real value, not even related to currency, but we buy it in dollar amounts. But talk to Steve about that. He is much more the expert than I am and more articulate on explaining how all the way back to biblical times, how gold always holds its own. You can sell it, you can buy it, you can trade it. It's always like that. That's why it's such a valuable worldwide commodity. And that's what they do at AGR. They've got safety features and all the security built into the system that you would need when you go by and visit. And they're honest and straightforward with you about it. It's a cool shop to visit with all the things in there people have brought in, even antique stuff in the store. Gold, silver, platinum, all the metals they buy, sell, and trade. It's Alabama Gold Refinery, AGR, alabamagoldrefinery.com. All right, till 5:35. We got time for a few more calls. We had some great calls today. 545-9950 if you want to get in on the show. Stockton Mortgage, next step. Man, as people head into spring and, you get house fever in the springtime, there's a lot of tire kickers. Interest rates have been more reasonable. Actually, historically, they're in a place where we used to have them all the time. 5 or 6% was normal. We hit that area, I suppose, after COVID and especially during the housing crash. We got used to these 3s and 4s. I don't know if we'll ever see that back again. Point being, if it's time, it's time. If it's time to move or do whatever you've got to do, additional space, renovation stuff, first-time homeowners, veterans, everybody approaches it differently and people qualify for different things. Stockton Mortgage will help you walk through that. They've got a website that they set up just for this radio show. And every now and then Thomas will get on the phone with us and tell us another success story of somebody they were able to help get rid of credit card debt and get their bills down and didn't stay on track to keep paying off their homes. Lots of options when it comes to using your mortgage smartly to deal with your financial situation. It's savewithstockton.com. That's that website I told you about. When tips come in from there, from our audience, when y'all reach out and tell them you're ready to talk, I'm telling you, I think they put y'all to the top of the list. They want those stories. They want those success stories. They don't want to turn you down. A lot of folks will not apply for a home loan out of fear of being rejected. Nobody wants to be rejected. Y'all, that's not what they're there for. They're there to make it happen. That's how they get paid too. SaveWithStockton.com. SaveWithStockton.com. I think I'm losing my voice, AJ. It's got to be the pollen. I'm blaming the pollen.
It probably is.
We got a little bit of rain last night, and it kind of washed everything off around my house for about 15 minutes. It was so nice. The next big batch of it, again, we talked about it a little while ago, should be late Saturday night. Man, I can't get 5 feet away from the Tiger Woods story. Every time I'm ready to move on to something else, another aspect of this. I think it was the body cam thing just kind of reinvigorated the story. But apparently now the crash victim, they're calling him the crash victim, the guy in the truck that Woods tried to run around, has now lawyered up. You knew that was going to happen. You think you got one of those billboard lawyers? I can get you $10 million. Anyway, it just says the notice of appearance and invocation of rights were filed in Florida today, showing a guy named Jeremy Bullard. This is TMZ, by the way, reporting this. Is going to be represented by a guy named Jason Fagnano. He's a personal injury attorney, specializes in wrecks. The development now shows allows Bullard to be represented in the criminal case and make sure his rights are protected in every step of the way. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's suing Woods. Okay. It's a little complicated, maybe a little different from the way Alabama law works in these things. And then it goes on and tells the backstory. The 50-year-old golf legend, crept up on the guy, blah, blah, blah. There were no reported injuries. That's what I was scrolling down here to find. I didn't think this guy got hurt. No reported injuries between Woods and Bullard. Of course, Woods is facing the DUI. But there was some damage to his rig, it says here. He was apparently towing some landscape type equipment or something like that. He had a rear, the Woods hit the rear driver's side wheel of his trailer that he was towing, and they had to remove the trailer from the scene with another piece of equipment. So it's like he clipped that back driver's side wheel area on his trailer that he was pulling, and it says it did $5,000 worth of damage, but he wasn't personally injured. AJ, will he still sue over his feelings?
Man, you can sue for everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's what people do. That's why all those billboards are all over the state of Alabama. Tiger Woods made me famous, and I didn't want to be famous. I guarantee you lawyers salivating over that case. They go where the money is, so there's that. All right, so enough about him tonight. Let me go back through my list to make sure I hadn't missed anything. I didn't get too far into this. Wanted to shove this back in, too. J.D. Vance, who's in all reality has had to take quite a back seat to Marco Rubio. And we're not trying to start an early rivalry between these two excellent folks on Trump's team. But they gave Vance this fraud mission. And Vance could make a lot out of that if he wants to pursue it and do so vigorously. it being empowered by the administration to do so. And they've starting to have their first scalps in, obviously, out in Los Angeles. So here's how the story goes. There was one it was $50 million in fraud. The big thing out in LA, unlike the Leering Center in Minneapolis that was so infamous just a few months ago, those were fake child care facilities. They had all kind of Medicare, Medicaid scams going in Minneapolis. The thing that they're doing in Los Angeles and getting away with, apparently, has been hospice care. I was listening to a story last night. I think it was a video that was being presented, but I can only hear the audio portion. But they found there was one location that had 197 hospices in this one building. And the reporters that were looking into it, they're all doing what Nick Shirley did. Nick Shirley's got a simple approach. Now, mainstream journalists are getting in on the party, CBS News and others. They'll go sit in the parking lot and see if anybody comes or goes from the building. Okay, you're supposed to be treating, you got 197 entities getting millions of dollars from the government to provide hospice care. There are no patients. There are no people coming. There are no employees. This is massive fraud. I thought the PPP loans and all the COVID money that was being shoved out the door would be the biggest fraud in American history, but this is starting to swamp it. And so Vance is now going to be part of a sort of an all hands of government approach to getting to the bottom of these fraud stories. And I'm assuming his targeting is related to any kind of federal fraud, which is largely where this money comes. But the state winds up with some culpability because in a lot of circumstances, when there's federal money being doled out, it can get passed through state agencies that are supposed to be doing the vetting, especially with Medicare and those kind of funds, Medicaid especially. And so this falls back on Gavin Newsom. If LA is the hotbed that has been described and these incidents keep rolling up, Democrats look the other way over a lot of stuff. They pretend to be interested in the budget when Trump wants to spend some money, like build a ballroom, even without tax money. But with this wasted, reckless graft, and especially you throw in the element that it's going to foreign countries and people that shouldn't even be here in the first place, good Lord. So we'll see how these things stack up. There were a couple of arrests today, a couple of subpoenas, a couple of search warrants already being executed. This is in coordination with the Department of Justice. It's pretty smart. They're using Treasury and its data to observe some of the fraud on the data. And all you got to do is cross-reference addresses. It's stunning to me that the government wasn't doing this to begin with. They're the stewards of this money. They're about to take out of all of our pockets in 13 days. And they go hand it out to these people just willy-nilly. And nobody in the government noticed that this one address appeared in the files 197 times. And then you multiply that by the many other locations that were doing the same thing. Somebody gets a scam going. They just scale the scam. Set up another entity, call it something a little bit different, put it at the same mailbox, and let the checks roll in. Our government is just stupid. Where it isn't corrupt, it's ignorant. It's just incompetent. And it's lazy. And now at least there's some focus on it. And I'll remind you, in just less than 3 years, that focus is gone because we go back to business as usual with these normal politicians that let all this stuff get built into this mess in the first place. Alabama Dental bringing you the show tonight, alabamadental.com. Y'all, go take care of your teeth. I just got my February checkup a couple months ago, and everything worked great. It's good to do the checkups and get that kind of confidence, and we encourage that with all your health, to get your eyes checked, get your teeth checked, get your skin cancer checked, do all those screenings. Dentistry is one of those things where some people hate going, man. They just hate it. I've known people like that in life. And then you make excuses like, I'm too busy. That's the easiest excuse to make. I don't have time. Yeah, you do. Because Alabama Dental's open until 7 at night. Those bastards. And they're open on Saturday. Bastards. You don't have an excuse anymore. You need to get in there. You'll love the staff. They're just so kind. They've got the latest technology. 4 dentists with 4 specialties. That's how they're able to cover these hours. And they will absolutely take good care of you. Treat you, even the weird stuff that comes up from time to time. People get snore problems at night, or they grind their teeth, or they have other pain from other conditions related to dentistry. They've got all the diagnostic ability to help you sort through that stuff too. Plus, Dr. Brian and his team, they're just good people. They're the kind of people you want to work with, do business with. It's alabamadental.com. Y'all reach out to them, get that appointment. Thank me later. alabamadental.com. Back in a minute. All right, y'all, 10 minutes, and then we're going to wrap things up and get on out of here and make room for breaking bread. One more time for my friends over at, oh, my camera got all weird. Let me stare at it. I think it's got to see my face, AJ. I don't know. It'll do that sometimes. Let it just be weird. Hey, now you see what Tiger Woods saw when he got pulled over. This is Tiger Woods in a traffic stop. That's the cam that we're going to do this hour. Yeah, y'all, what a great organization that Jay has at Douglas Cooling and Heating, ready to help you through any of your deal when it comes to all of your preps for the heat of summer and the humidity of summer. I mean, it was in the 80s today. I think we're going to have a little cool off next week. Not bad, in the 60s. But we're inching our way toward that oppressive, abusive, thick, nasty humidity, and I don't look forward to it. I will say this: I heard our Jawbone Jam commercial for the first time. As we're all pumped up about that. I'm glad we're indoors this year. We've been doing it outside for a couple of years. It's time to move back indoors down at Iron City. Details on that coming up as we move along. Still tickets available too. But Douglas, man, let them come do your tune-up. Let them do your cleanup. Let them get you straight, get you right, get you tight as we head into summer. That spring tune-up can save you a lot of money. It really can get you down on your power bills. Think about it. If your system's all clogged up, nasty, and not running efficiently, it's just sucking wind trying to keep up with the heat in your house, and you keep moving the thermostat, trying to get it right, and that's just no good. Let them check the charge, check the cleanliness of it, get it all straight, and get you back in business. Y'all, it is Douglas Cooling and Heating. They have taken care of me for a long time. They've taken care of me for going on 17 years with all kind of situations, replacements, new installs that they've taken care of over time. It's Douglas Cooling and Heating. Now, they've got a website that starts off sounding like a phone number, because what they did was, well, no, I'm sorry. I got distracted there. I was looking at another. I keep getting these Tiger Woods stories. CallDouglas.com. There we go. CallDouglas.com. License number 2017181. Let them come clean you up, tune you up. And again, I can't overemphasize this. If you know you got an old rusty system or an out-of-date system that's going to need replacing, don't wait for it to conk out. It's going to do that when the weather's the worst. Do it in a controlled environment while we still have nice sort of temperate weather. Then you can deal with the downtime. And they're not if you wait till the hottest day of the year when everything conks out, you're going to be in line with everybody else trying to get these emergency installs done. Go ahead and do it while they've got finance opportunities and extended warranties. Again, calldouglas.com, calldouglas.com. I never got to this Pete Hegseth story. Let me see if I can get it to pull back up. Pete Hegseth is trying to get the chief of staff of the Army to step down. He's ticked off at him for some reason. That story became minimal today with everything else going on. I mean, you wouldn't even know, with all the Tiger Woods angles that seemed to pop out this afternoon, that there was even a war going on. But yeah, Hegseth in the news for that. We'll have to wait for the news cycle to kind of get to the bottom of why he wants the Secretary of the Army to step down. We haven't heard much on the spaceship. That was great yesterday to be able to cover that live and to see, that the humanity for the first time in, 54 years, I think, head toward the moon. The ship today, I was loosely keeping up with it with other stuff that was coming across. It circled the Earth. It made the big loop around planet Earth, and then it turned on the thruster phase that it's in. It turned on the thruster to push it toward the moon. So it sort of slingshots around the Earth, heads toward the moon. It'll take it another, 4.5 days to get to the moon. Then they'll go around the big arc that they're going to make around the moon. The thing's making a big old figure 8. It'll slingshot around the moon and head back toward the Earth and splash down off San Diego. That'll be dramatic. It will be on a Friday. I'm trying to get a time frame on that. We might even be able to carry that live too. They had trouble with the toilet. Of all the things to have trouble with in that confined space, there was some kind of valve that got jammed. I think they were able to fix it. I guess they've always got the option of diapers. They got a backup plan if the toilet goes down. You can't just get off that thing and pull over at a gas station. So I did hear that today. They were working on that. And then I was reading a little bit about the exhaustive work they've got to do and the research that they're doing. they're going to practice docking, because at some point, the whole point of this mission, so fascinating, is to start building a lunar base. So we would have a station, basically a space station on the moon, that they'd be able to shoot to, dock, and get off and get onto that station. And that will eventually over time get built up and will be a launch pad toward Mars and even deep space missions. So all that stuff, is in the offing simply because we revived the space program and came up with this Artemis program, which is just going to be fascinating. I think we probably won't hear much about it for the next 2 or 3 days while they just sort of coast toward the moon, or actually move at great speed toward the moon. But man, when they go around the moon, that moment, and then of course, suppose 9 days from now when they splash down near San Diego, that's going to be something to watch. All right, let me go back through all the headlines, make sure I'm not missing anything super important. Boy, we have said all we can say about the Tiger Woods story. Yeah, the King. I'm still seeing reaction coming in from the King and all that situation where he decided to skip Easter this year. That is going to be fun to watch with our friends in the United Kingdom and how they are handling the national image of that. They're going through an identity crisis right now because of the way NATO has behaved, or the way they've behaved in relation to NATO. I'm not saying the Iran war is a popular thing, but they have telegraphed weakness in terms of their ability to even deploy their Navy. Their Navy's in shambles. And that's an embarrassment to the heritage of the British people, and now they're dealing with this. Okay, and now we're at another story about J.D. Vance and the anti-fraud hospice investigation in California. A little update real quick that just came in on that. Apparently, they've suspended 221 California hospices that they've already determined to be fraudulent. It's a 216% increase from just last week. That's the stuff they found this week in the state of California. Let's watch Newsom try to spin that situation. Lord have mercy. What a weird news day. All right, tomorrow's Good Friday, and we hope to send you into a nice holiday season, whether King Charles likes it or not. Hey, Jerry, the kids out of school? I mean, your kids aren't school age. Why am I asking you?
Well, no. Yeah, they don't have no well, yes, they are.
I'm just wondering. I think we used to get Good Friday off.
Mm-hmm.
They'd always have the kids out of school on Good Friday, but just threw that in there the last second. I'm completely losing my voice. I don't feel bad. I think it's the pollen. I almost can't. I sound like Bill Clinton again.
Yeah, it's that
Bill
time
Clinton
of year.
on pollen. So y'all take it easy, and I got to go deal with my life right now with Hillary. I'm stuck with her now. We got old, and she never shuts up.
Now I see why you got your own little space.
Mm-hmm. Hey, how about that Tiger Woods? Can we talk about something else? All right, man. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Take it easy.
All right. Stay tuned for Breaking Bread coming up next. Well, I'm off tomorrow, so yes.
Oh, you're off. That's right. You're off tomorrow.
I am. Oh gosh.
Who have I got? Johnny Bird.
Yes, you got JB.
We're gonna throw down.
Yes, sir.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right. Breaking Bread coming up next. Goodbye, AJ.